Okay, the next portion, what we're going to do is we're going to be doing 2 flyovers of 2 separate plants. These are drone flyovers, and do my best here to kind of, as we fly through this, kind of describe the equipment you're seeing and going through the process. Here's the blast on the rock face wall. Here's a side elevation view of that. Okay, here's your co-feed bins, a lot like we talked in our demonstration. Here's a loader coming in, he's loading on the fine end of the co-feeds. This is a unified drum that you can see here, or a counterflow. And here's the knockout, or that's a horizontal secondary collector there with a bag house. Here's the ductwork, and this is the recycle bins that you saw below. There's a drag dropout. The Traverse. Here's a top view over the drag looking down at the drum. You can see your storage tanks and stuff there on the right. This is an aerial view of the Superior plant. This is a double barrel plant. Here's your cold feed bins. As you move from the coarse up to the fine side, you can actually see the material in those bins. And you can see as it's coarse and it's moving to fine as you move towards bin number 1. There's the collecting conveyor going up into the scalping screen, or the screen deck. And then there's the weigh bridge that we talked about. You can see he's going to make a turn here. And you'll see on the weigh bridge side of it. Top view of the screen cloths in the screen deck. That gives you a good pause view. You can see where it's being introduced in, and you can see on the top. Now as it leaves the scalping screen, you're going to go over the virgin incline belt. There's your wind guard. You see where your virgin aggregate's being weighed. That's a belt swipe where you can pull a sample off of a belt that you're seeing there, and then it continues on up into the double barrel. This plant is not in production at the time. You can see we have no moving components. Here you can see the duct work where it's being pulled off, pulling the gases and stuff off of the double barrel over to the bag house. And as we go across over this duct, you'll be able to see down on top of the double barrel. So there's your tire, there's your sprocket from where it's being turned, gearbox and everything for that, and then you see the duct work. Here's the tank farm, your storage tanks, your retaining wall. Here's your heater, and he does have a fuel tank too for running heavy oil. It's got a Phoenix burner on the back of it, so it is a pre-mix burner. You can tell the injection lines coming into the top of the drum. It is equipped with a warm mix foaming mechanical system. If it pauses right here, you can see where the wrap's being introduced into the outer shell of the drum. You can also see where the fines are being brought from the bag house over into the drum also. You can see the horizontal cyclone. Here's the discharge of the drum going into the drag, and as the material move up, that would be the view you want to take to make sure that you're loading in the center of that drag right over the top of it. And a nice feature on the plants that you don't see dual staircases up both sides of the drag. At the discharge of the drum, there is a place there for mixed temperature on the infrared. And then as it gets to move up on the drag, we'll get some pictures of the top of the silos. Dual truck scales, so you have 2 truck scales. Both of those you can print tickets and stuff from inside the control room on it. That's about how slow I would walk to the tops also. You can tell this is a little different configuration of what you normally see. It has incline traverses on the top. It was all about a height requirement on this plant, but you can see that they do have a little bit of an incline. It does offer some other things that you need to do. What I talked about, you do see different configurations out there. It's all about elevation and height. Sometimes when you're doing those incline traverses, you do have to up the horsepower a little bit over a flatbed style of conveying system. You see the tops of the batchers up there. You can see the high and low bend indicators for the silo. And you can see where it does the traverse over to the third silo. You can see on that incline traverse where it has the ability, that long chute that's coming out of that incline over to the third silo. If you wanted to add additional silo, that's the reason for the large drop. You can put another traverse underneath that to go to additional silos. So kind of looks different, but that's the reason that that's there. So it can unbolt pretty easily, and they can bolt another traverse under it and be able to add to it. Those are storage silos. So they have a grease seal at the top, and they have an oil seal at the bottom, which allows you to keep the mix at a constant temperature. And basically the biggest thing is it keeps the oxygen away from it, so no oxidation. There's another side view of the double barrel and a good side view of the bag house. That is a pulse jet bag house, and a view from the control room and the sampling pad where you could pull in and get the samples. Here's on the wrap bins. He's got 2 wrap bins here. You see equipped with air cannons. And you see that it has a scalping screen or a screen deck also. Again, you'll see the reject coming out the back on this one. And then it's going to have a collecting conveyor. It'll have a weigh bridge. It's also equipped with a belt sweep also, where you can sweep the material off the belt. There's also a good view coming out of the cyclone with the discharge screw to the drum. That's a very clean, standard configuration that you would see. A good picture of the sprocket for the girth sprocket on the drum. Good side view of the burner at the end. It's kind of hard to see, but over the top of the drum there you'll see a little MCC, which has some of the switch gear. Instead of it being located in the back of the control room, it's set in a separate unit altogether, standalone. You can see the tops of the bag house. There's the bag house lids. That would be the clean side of the bag house where the air is coming up through the clean side. Those doors, of course, you can see that in the video. You can remove those for inspection. One of the things you're looking for if you remove those is to see dust build up on the top of that tube sheet. If you do, it's a good indicator you got some bags that's allowing material to migrate through them. There's the MCC, a very good picture of the MCC there where all of your switch gear is located. Good picture of the double barrel and the burner from the back side. And another good view of the discharge screw. You can see there's an inspection door on the back of the cyclone also.